doing post-production. All right, on the bottom, you'll twist that little gray bar, that little round gray circular thing. You're gonna twist it down to adjust. All right, so has she pressed record yet? All right. Good morning. Today we're going to talk about a concept called fluency. Fluency. Has anyone ever taken a class where you've dealt with fluency before?
Yes.
Yes. When?
I took it, I think, in kindergarten.
Okay. And what did you guys talk about with fluency?
Like how well you can read, how fast, how much passion you have in reading.
Exactly. Exactly. Fluency deals with your ability to read the information with passion, to read it with the correct speed, and to enunciate the words correctly. So today what we're going to practice with doing is we're going to take a piece of literature and we're going to read it, and we're going to try to read it with passion and with what's called fluency. Okay? So I've given you a piece from the history place, the great speeches. There's a young lady by the name of Susan B. Anthony. Has anyone ever heard of her before? Okay, so she's a fighter for women's rights during women's suffrage. And so what we're going to do today, I want you to take a few moments. I want you to read over it, become familiar with the piece of literature, and then we're going to go and we're going to read it as a group, okay? Okay. Then we're going to pretend like we've read this whole thing. All right. We're going to get ready to identify words, okay? All right, now that you've had opportunity to actually read this piece of literature, were there words in the literature that you did not know before you started reading?
Yeah, a couple.
A couple of them? Let's name a couple. What is one word that you saw in the literature?
Hardihood.
Hardihood. That's a great word. Now, looking at hardihood in the context of the sentence, are you able now to tell me about what that word means?
Yes.
What do you think hardihood means?
I think it means like you don't have the heart to say it, like you are afraid to say it.
Okay,
It would be mean or something.
that makes sense. Now, for everyone else, read that sentence for all of your classmates to hear.
Oh, you want me to?
Yes.
And I hardly believe any of our opponents will have the hardihood to say they are not.
Okay. Can everybody see that? Where she said it means that you don't have the heart to voice your opinion, or you're afraid to voice your opinion? Does anyone disagree with her interpretation of what that word means? No, that's what the word means. What's another word that we saw?
Aristocracy.
Okay, aristocracy. Okay. And what do we think that word means?
I think it means some form of government, probably.
Okay. Exactly. And so she says in the text, she says, it is not a republic. It is an odious aristocracy. So now we look at odious. Is that a negative word or a positive word? Is that a negative word or a positive word?
A negative word.
A negative word. Why do we say that it's a negative word?
Because she doesn't like the government, the in-house setup.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So because she's not painting aristocracy in a positive light, she's talking about aristocracy in a negative light, right? And so since she's talking about aristocracy in a negative light, this word odious seems to be an adjective of what she means to be negative. So we know that odious, even if we don't know what it means, we know that it means something negative, correct? All right. So let's go ahead and start reading our story. Kayla, would you like to start us off?
Sure.
Okay.
Friends and fellow citizens, I stand before you tonight under indictment for the alleged crime of having voted at the last presidential election without having a lawful right to vote. It shall be my work this evening to prove to you that in thus voting, I not only committed no crime, but instead simply exercised my citizens' rights guaranteed to me and all United States citizens by the
people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America.
Excellent. Anyone else want to pick up? Okay.
It was we the people, not we the white male citizens, nor yet we the male citizens, but we the whole people who formed the Union. And we formed it not to give the blessings of liberty, but to secure them, not to the half of ourselves and the half of our posterity, but to the whole people, women as well as men. And it is a downright mockery to talk to women of their enjoyment and blessings of liberty, while they are denied the use of only means of securing them provided by this democratic republican government, the ballot.
Excellent. Okay. Who wants to read the final paragraph?
I will. The only question left to be settled now is, are women persons? And I hardly believe any of our opponents will have the hardihood to say they are not. Being persons, then women are citizens, and no state has a right to make any law or to enforce any old law that shall abridge their privileges or immunities. Hence, every discrimination against women in the constitutions and laws of the several states is today null and void, precisely, and as is every one against Negroes.
Okay. Excellent. So now we've read the story. We read her speech rather. What are some things that we can glean from reading her speech? For instance, do we see her as a woman who's angry?
Kind of.
Kind of. Why would you say that she's angry?
Because she doesn't like how the people have not let her vote and convicted her of crime.
Okay. All right. So she's angry because she was not being able to vote. Now she says she's under indictment for a crime that was no crime. So she's probably upset because she was arrested, maybe. Think. Okay. What else do we know about her from reading her speech?
Well, she's she's educated, the way that she talks and uses her words when she speaks and writes.
Exactly. So we can see that she's educated because she uses words that are not words that you would normally hear from persons that you would not consider to be educated, correct? So she uses some words that we have to look up. Like she uses hardihood. She uses aristocracy, odious. So she uses words that we associate with individuals who are educated. Now, in her speech, why would we say that she was delivering this speech? Is she delivering this speech to entertain the audience?
No.
No. Is she delivering this speech to inform the audience?
Yes.
Maybe
Yes.
so, maybe so. Is she delivering this speech to persuade the audience?
Yes.
Yes.
More likely, yeah.
Does she have an opinion?
Yes.
Yes.
Would you say that she has a strong opinion?
Yes.
Yes, very
Why would you say that?
because of the whole idea of the speech and what she has in it and how she states that she doesn't like the government now.
Okay, all right. And now, looking at this, now, there are a couple things that I want us to do with looking at this speech and looking at how she delivered this speech. Now, I want us to be able to critique it, which is what we've been doing so far. And critiquing is simply being able to looking at it from a critical standpoint and picking up if we see any inconsistencies or errors, okay? So what I want you to do as groups, I want you to break up into groups, and I want you to look at the speech, talk about it. You can read it again if you like, but I want you to identify any type of inconsistencies that you see. I also want you to evaluate the speech to see if you think the speech was effective. Was it able to accomplish the purpose that she gave the speech? So you're going to have to look at the speech and determine what was her purpose for giving the speech, okay? So let's break up into small groups for a moment, and then I'm going to give you an opportunity to have some discussion. All right? All right. So now what I want you guys to do, we'll start our first group. We'll start with you three in the first group. So you guys take your paper, slide back into the corner, out of the site. And then basically the same discussion that we had, you're gonna look at it. Somebody else you can read it to show fluency. What I would like to see is for you to go back and read it and say, maybe she said like this, and then read it with some passion. You know how somebody would read it, Not that they were, because she wasn't angry as far as she was fussing. She was angry as far as she was passionate. Okay? And so I want you to read it and interpret it that as far as being passionate. Okay? Y'all got it? And just have some discussion around it. All right?
Wait, you want us to talk about like how strongly she was at first?
How passionate she was, and look at the speech as far as what points you can pick out that shows that she was strong, or what problems you have. What things does she point out that is unfair? Like you may say, was it unfair for her to compare women's right to Negro rights,
Okay.
or to use that word, period, or the whole discussion. Okay.
Okay.
All right, and make sure you guys talk loud because the microphone is actually pointed this way.
Do you want us
All
to
right.
get down?
fluency. You want to understand the text, you want to be able to relate to the text, and you want to be able to feel the passion. When we read the story, the speech of Susan B. Anthony, can you feel her passion?
Yes.
Yeah. Can you understand why she was so passionate?
Yes.
All right. So as we get ready to close out the lesson, I want each of you to look through the speech, pick out a part of the speech, a sentence that you feel was powerful and very pivotal. And what we're going to do, I'm going to ask each of you to read that the way that you feel that Susan B. Anthony would have read it. Okay? So who would like to start us off?
I'll start you off.
Okay?
So I picked the first sentence from the third paragraph. It was we the people, not we the white male citizens, nor yet we the male citizens, but we the whole people who form the Union. I think that was probably one of the most important sentences she could have said in her speech. I think it meant a lot to her to put that in there.
Yeah, very powerful, very powerful. Who wants to go next?
I'll go next.
Okay.
On the last paragraph, the first sentence, I picked the only question left to be settled now is, are women persons?
Yeah, because I think that in the speech she established that a person in the United States has certain rights. And so now she poses the question, are women persons? And why would she pose that question?
To know like that we're all treated equal and like women are people, not just the white males, so we should all be able to do and have the rights for the same thing.
Okay, exactly. So who would like to read next?
I'll go.
Okay.
The second sentence in the first paragraph. It shall be my work this evening to prove to you that in thus voting, I not only committed no crime, but instead simply exercised my citizens' rights.
Exactly.
Guaranteed to me and all United States citizens by the national Constitution beyond the power of any state to deny.
Exactly. That's a powerful statement as well. Because what she does, remember we talked about when you're writing, you tell them what you're going to tell them, then you tell them, and then you tell them what you told them. Remember that?
Yes.
And so right now, what she's saying here, this is what I'm going to do tonight. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to tell you. And then she lays out what she's going to talk about. And then she concludes it at the end with Anisha's statement, the only question left are women persons. Okay? Who wants to read next?
I'll go. I chose the second sentence in the last paragraph. She said, and I heartily believe any of our opponents will have the hardihood to say they are not. And I think she is saying that like strongly because she doesn't think that any person like have the heart to actually tell a woman that they're not equal to as being a person as white males are.
All right, I agree. And
Okay, I chose the first sentence of the fourth paragraph. For any state to make sex a qualification that must ever result in the disfranchisement of one entire half of the people is to pass a bill of attainder or an ex post facto law and is therefore a violation of the supreme law of the land. It basically means that she thinks not one half of that the whole world is not a male world. There's also another gender, which is females. So if males can do something, then a female should be able to do the same thing because then it's going against supreme law, which covers everybody.
I agree. I agree. So I want to thank you all for taking this fluency class with me today, and you all have a great day.